And we are off. Starting in 2 different places, we got BrewersFan getting a big heart in Sanctuary, Problems getting a little bit of love in Link's house.
Yep, Problems looks like he's doing the South High Roll route, trying to farm up some bombs in the meantime. And Brewers looks like he's going to be doing the Houlihan start. It's a favorite of people in the tournament, trying to lend some consistency, grabbing some rupees so you can buy bombs in Kakariko early.
Yeah, that's something different with Keysanity, is that there isn't as much money to start as there is in the regular open randomizer.
Yeah, anything you can do to increase the consistency of this early part of the game, because when it's randomized, you can't count on anything. So anything you can do to increase that consistency is certainly helpful and helps everyone out here. So BrewersFan here, I did not see what was on in the race, but Problems looks like he doesn't even need it.
It was just a little bit of love. There's a compass in the library, which is useless in Keysanity. Once we get through all the different items in Kakariko, we'll take a moment to explain what Keysanity is. Looks like BrewersFan's going up to Uncle's Tunnel, Problems going to the tavern, and we find a small key to Skullwoods.
And Brewers had a real lucky drop there from an 8 bomb drop when he was smashing a guard in the face with a sign. That's a really lucky drop, and I'm sure he's happy to see that.
Yep. All right, we got $20 both in the Chicken's Hut and in with Uncle. Uncle giving away his final savings.
$20. That's really unfortunate if that's his life savings right there.
And just a 5-bomb upgrade in the chest in Uncle's Tunnel. ProblemsIRL farming more bombs.
Yep. And keep in mind, remember, this is the Keysanity tournament. This is not the Fall Open Mode tournament that finished a while ago. The main difference in Keysanity is all the world's keys, maps, big keys, and compasses are included into the package that is spread out throughout the world. So you'll find random keys located all over the place. It lends itself to some different randomized items, like we were saying earlier. It tends to lend itself to fewer rupees available in the early game, also fewer hearts available, so you can be a little bit sickly. And, Go Mode, we won't even know what Go Mode is because we have to keep in mind what keys are going to be there. Now, the other thing is we don't know what are pendants and which are crystals. In order to know that for sure, you either have to beat the dungeon or get the map to that dungeon.
Right, and as we should also note, big keys are also randomized in, and there was a big key in the Lumberjack Cave, so that could mean AGA 1 is required. We also had a small key to Turtle Rock and the Fighter Sword in the well.
Nice to see a Fighter Sword early on, and yeah, a big key almost certainly means we could see an AGA requirement. Oh, but that's going to be a nice pull. Early bow.
The D in Lost Woods. Power Glove, it's so bad. We got a map to Ice Palace, another map to Thieves Town, and a piece of heart in the Blind's Hut.
Well, this is interesting. And what?
That's gotta be Kane!
Oh my goodness. This has been for Keysanity, it's not unusual to have a completely empty Kakariko, but we found Power Glove, a sword, the Cane of Samaria, and the bow, if you count the whole Kakariko proper area. My goodness, this is an absolutely stacked Kakariko. Where do you think they're going to take that with them?
I would definitely, right now, Eastern's usually one of the main routes, but you've got a Fighter Sword, you've got the bow. I would definitely not be hesitating to go to Eastern right now.
Eastern would be a good play. One thing that I would like to see, and we've seen one of our runners already start the escape process with going to Uncle. However, with that sword that they're going to be picking up, the rest of escape ends up being relatively easy. That might be something we end up pointing towards.
Well, and to be honest, right now, so, we know that there's a big key on the Lumberjack Cave, and we have one sword. I'd honestly be waiting on escape, because if I find a Master Sword, that probably means Aga is even more required.
See, here's the problem with that. The 2 keys that are required as you're climbing Aga's tower are also shuffled in to all these other seeds. So if Aga ends up being required, in addition to, in the open mode logic, you need to have not only the Master Sword or Cape to get through that first door, also the lamp, but we also have to get 2 keys to unlock through the castle tower. Without that, you can't get to Aga.
And also to note that those 2 chests could have 2 items. They don't necessarily... They could be anything in those chests.
Absolutely. We see problems here making use, following the logic, getting that the back end of escape using his power glove. So we're going to see if anything here.
The Moon Pearl. All right.
We are 1 item away now from Dark World access, either the Titansmith or the Hammer, and we'll have sub 10-minute Dark World access in Keysanity. That's unusual, to say the least.
Yes, definitely. ProblemsIRL is going the south route to the well, and most likely Mini Moldorm came after that. Chaos Wings, we're not sure if Aga is required right now. The Lumberjack Cave has a big key, and so if that is one of the Crystal Dungeon big keys, that's gonna mean that Aga is required.
It's possible, and I would say an increased likelihood at this point in time, because even if it's not required, that's got to be played into the back of their minds. Maybe they will make the play earlier than they would normally, just because they might have to. Now it'll be interesting to see what they do, because we don't know which big key it is. I mean, that could be the Ganon's Tower key for all we know.
Exactly, because that Ganon's Tower big key is just as much randomized as anything else. It's really good if you find it early, because then you know you don't have to search for it, but sometimes some of these races can come down to, do you check the entire world before going to Ganon's Tower to get that big key?
So Problem's going ahead and doing Mini Moldorm Cave. Brewers looks like he's going over to check the back of escape portion here, also following the logic that they received.
Gonna get his Moon Pearl. All right, let's see what we got here in Mini Moldorm. We got the Bloomerang, a small key to Pod, Blue Mail, a Piece of Heart, and the Hook Shot.
Ooh, Hook Shot is super nice to get at this point in time. If we get either the lamp or the flute, we could be seeing it pointing us towards Death Mountain for our next chain at that point in time. But the hookshot unlocks, of course, East Death Mountain. You can hookshot across that bridge.
Certainly. And ProblemsIRL is going to go over to the Ice Rod Cave. I like where the seed is right now. You've got some options. You don't feel like you've got nothing to work with right now, but the seed's pointing you in a couple different directions. It just depends on what the next item is.
Yeah, the thing that we're going to have to keep in mind, though, we don't have any big keys, so we absolutely know that we can't complete any dungeons at this point in time. So while we have a lot of different items and a lot of different options in terms of where we can go, nothing is completable. This means we might see a lot more double dips in this race than we do in some other races. Be on the lookout for that. See who can route things together as most efficiently as they can.
Yep, looks like Problems is about to do a fake flipper to... Well, yep. Yeah, it looks like he's going to do... Is he dancing or something?
He's trying to get it set up, because you have to be within 1 pixel of transitioning in order to set up that particular fake flipper.
Yeah, and there he got it. And he's going up to the waterfall.
Yep, this glitch requires you to have the Moon Pearl in order for you to be able to do this water walking glitch. So as soon as he got the Moon Pearl, I'm sure this was on his list of things to do.
Although he's only got... Alright, so we got a little bit of love and a red meringue, but he's only got 238 rupees, so he has nowhere near enough for Zora.
Nope. So he's going back. He's not even going to check to see what's on that Zora ledge because it's not in logic right now.
Alright, so we got 300 bucks on the Hylia Island, so...
Now, Brewers Fan looks like he's following a little bit in that route, but he, because he went to Houlihan, and this is the advantage of Houlihan, has that 585 rupees at that point in time. So I would look for Brewers Fan to go ahead and route in Zora and do that Zora check in the meantime.
Hobo's got a small key to Ganon's Tower, which isn't really that big of a deal because you only really need one. If you find the big key before getting to Ganon's Tower, you just need the one key to run the gauntlet.
And most people will be able to pick up the small key that is located on the left side underneath the pot. So picking it up is nice. It'll save you, less than a minute, but not really required.
No, that someone's asking about the Mega Man X sprite. So it's Mega Man X, and then it's the armor that you get from Mega Man, the first game, and then I believe Red Mail is the golden armor from like the golden armor for like X2.
I mean, either way, it is absolutely amazing the work that our sprite animators have done with that Mega Man sprite. It was in, I think, the latest patch in version 28 is when that was added, right?
Yeah. There was a bunch of other ones, like Sonic was in there. Being a Kingdom Hearts fan, as to my name, I do have to at least mention that Sora was in there. But there's even the tile from the tile rooms that are in.
All right, so we see Problems looks like he's going into the front half of his skate now, while Brewers... Let's see if Brewers does what I predicted and goes and completes his Zora check right now. Yep.
Certainly looks like it. This could be big if Zora actually has an item. The mushroom on the ledge.
Oh, that's kind of torturous from a planning perspective. Do you want to come back and get it at some point in time? He's not going to be able to pick it up this time, I don't believe.
Nope. Life lesson, love lesson, or key lesson. It's a key to pod.
Those pod keys are highly valuable. You need quite a few of them. Now, if you know the hammer yump trick in there, it ends up helping you out, but the more keys, the better for pod.
We got half magic in escape. That's nice to have. Problems is on his way to the Zelda chest. Brewers Fan. Is he gonna... looks like he's gonna try to sequence break into Death Mountain, maybe? Yeah,
that looks like what he's gonna do. Not necessarily a bad plan. When you have that hook shot already, knowing that you'll be able to go over and get all of East Death Mountain, it's a solid play.
Problems is setting up a Death Warp once he gets done with this chest, which is 10 arrows. Yeah, the one thing to keep in mind, though, is that this is going to be a sequence break. So there's a lot of items up here now that he has the Power Glove and the hook shot, but none of it's going to be in the logic. It'll help, but it's not in the logic of what is the next step for him.
Speaking of sequence breaks, looks like Problems is going to be going to the back end of Escape as well to get that dark room. I wonder if he realizes he doesn't have a key.
You don't need a key to get to that one chest, though. Small key to Ganon's Tower from the old man. Yeah, Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because with this dark room, if you go this way, there isn't a key requirement to get to that one chest. It's if you come from the back way where you need the key to do it.
All right. Yep, I misread that logic there at some point. The other thing to keep in mind with
just $20 anyway. Big key on Spectacle Rock, and we also have another big key inside Spectacle Rock, so 2 there. So go ahead, Vitasia.
I was going to say one thing to keep in mind for Brewers Fan, if he does end up finding either the flute or the lamp while he's up here on Death Mountain, is that gives him an indication that of what he sequence broke. You know, for example, if he finds the lamp up here on East Death Mountain, that will indicate to him that the flute was the intended method to get up here, and that the flute will not be locked behind anything that would require the lamp as well.
And that sequence break's going to pay off because that was the big key to Eastern. So now you've got the bow and you've got its big key. You can full clear Eastern right now.
Problems talking to Sahasrara and finding out that the Desert Palace is the green pendant, but he also pulls the hammer.
And the small key to Ice Palace. So we have Dark World access now with the hammer, the Power Glove, and the Moon Pearl. But Problems is going to keep going into Eastern and get the chests he can there. Brewers Fan heading to East Death Mountain.
Brewers Fan is going to be able to do all of Eastern in one swoop with that big key that he got for the sequence break. If Problems ends up finding the flute or the lamp inside these first few chests, it'll be interesting. It'll mean the Eastern Palace was a required double dip.
Mm-hmm. So we got some Baja Blast, and we also got the big key to Ganon's Tower.
No guessing game today, guys. Already done.
Time for the new Hype Cave, as people like to call it.
I'm still a fan of Paradox Cave myself, but...
Alright, we've got a small key to Thieves Town. That's big, knowing that we have the hammer. We got a compass to Hera. We got a piece of heart. And we've got the map to Eastern. Just $20 from inside the one room in Eastern.
Nice bomb jump there by Brewers Fan. Be able to save about a minute there from having to walk around.
Yeah, that's one bomb jump I still haven't figured out how to do. The Ice Palace one I've got down. Just triple bombs on the floating island, so we won't need to worry about that. Alright, chat, get your resident sleeper strats in. We're about to do Spiral Cave without the boots.
Zzz, snore.
And we got a big key to Meyer.
Here's something interesting. Brewers Fan ended up getting the big key to Eastern, so he'll be able to do all that in one swoop. However, Problems got the hammer while he was down there, so when he ends up coming up to Death Mountain, he'll be able to, if he doesn't have the mirror already, be able to head over to Tower of Hera, which Brewers Fan was not able to do. So both of these runners will be able to do something that the other was not, based entirely on their current routing.
True. I mean, honestly, it's a little too early right now to really be determining who's in the lead. We still have a lot of rando to play.
Oh, absolutely. I really don't, even talk about who's leading over one another until we get well into the game.
And we know now that from the map, we know Eastern is a crystal. And Brewers is on his way to do that single run of Eastern. And then the big key chest, we've got another big key to Skull Woods.
Okay, so I take it back. We found a ton of big keys since in the past 10 minutes. Ganon's Tower, Eastern Palace, Misery Mire. Oh my goodness, so many. Skull Woods.
Although, to be honest, that Skull Woods one only really gets you access to one chest, because you can get to the boss without the big key as long as you have the fire rod and a sword.
True, but from my perspective, I think I would much rather see the big keys for those sorts of things before I go there, so I can route in that treasure chest location. Getting it after you've already cleared it out is just a little bit painful.
True. Looks like ProblemsIRL is getting ready to go into the Dark World.
Yep, he's going to be entering from this northern area, so he'll probably route the first part of Skullwoods and right along there with the Village of Outcasts, so he'll probably use that big key. All right, so Brewers Fan is going through Eastern Palace. Problems heading up to the Skullwoods. Going to take advantage of that big key chest. We have Act the Bacher predicting that this is going to be progression in this big treasure chest.
Well, I know the meme is supposed to be that if it's version 26, you go to Skullwoods. I don't know if the version 28 update continues that meme or not.
Well, Keysanity, changes the name of the game rather than open mode. The overworld seems to have a lot more of the items than we're used to normally, so
Yeah. We got 300 bucks, so ProblemsIRL now has Azora money. Now he's setting up a bomb jump for that big key. Nicely done. And we got a small key to Swamp. That's good.
Hey, that Swamp Palace small key can troll the heck out of a lot of people, so I'm sure Problems is happy to see that.
Exactly. Some of the trolley keys we've gotten right now. We got the GT big key, we got the Swamp small key, so we also have the Swamp big key. So some of those keys that in Keysanity can really troll you, we've gotten out of the way so far.
Absolutely. So it is worth noting that Brewers is still in sequence break. Problems did do some sequence breaking, but I think he's still in logic at this point in time because none of the sequence breaking that he did behind dark rooms actually amounted to anything, correct?
No, you're right. I mean, and that was just a 5-arrow upgrade in the big key chest, so I'm sure when he gets the big key and comes back here on his second trip, he's gonna probably open it, but I mean, nothing really there that he's missing. To your point, though, about sequence breaking, like, I know by the logic it doesn't really change anything. I gotta say, though, to be honest, I don't really worry about dark rooms. Once you learn the pattern, it's not that hard to execute them without the lamp.
This is true, but beyond just knowing that you are doing sequence breaking, you can kind of logically say, okay, I was not intended to be able to get these things. That can eliminate, if you find anything beyond the sequence break, it can eliminate the locations of other items at that point in time.
Yep, correct. There was just the Arrow of Destiny on the bumper cave, so won't need to go there.
Arrow of Destiny, I like that.
Fisher Price Shield in the C-shaped cave. Yeah, I think some people, since that's supposed to be like the last chest after Trolldorm 2, some people call that the Arrow of Destiny, as like that's the final arrow that you're gonna shoot right into Ganon. But realistically, it doesn't do anything. We got $100 and a small key to the castle tower, so that potential Aga run, we've now got one of the two keys.
Problems did open Thieves Town, but he has not actually gone in there yet. It'll be interesting to see if he goes ahead and gets those first 4 treasure chests. Don't have the big key yet, so the rest of the dungeon is blocked from him.
Yep. Although with Keysanity, that's one of those strategy differences as it looks like he's about to do, because you could go in, get those 4 chests. If you don't find something that if you don't find anything, you just death warp, and then you're right back on your way to doing other things around the area.
Brewers take some more time, having a little bit of problem with this dark room here, looks like. Doing what he can, and took some hits.
I missed what that second chest was in Thieves Town. Did you see it?
I do not believe it was anything important.
Okay. We have a small key to Turtle Rock. Okay, so it was a pod small key and $300. So that's pretty much it for the first 4 chests in Thieves Town. And there's that death warp we're setting up.
Yep. A little bit unfortunate that they're having to do death warps with blue mail. Much easier to set up death warps with green mail, but on the other side, if you're counting on tanking damage, blue mail's nice.
Yeah, well, and those red dinosaur things do a lot of damage even with blue mail, so Brewers fan taking on the Armos Knights. ProblemsIRL about to head over to the digging game. And we have just a map to Ganon's Tower, which is pretty useless in Keysanity, and we have our first crystal.
First crystal is 26 minutes in. Not bad, about average for a Keysanity at this point in time. Problems digging up here?
Having a little trouble getting around that bush. And just a little bit of love.
And he had to work for that little bit of love too, didn't he?
Yeah. That's always nerve-wracking when you're getting close to the end. It's like, the maximum's 30 digs, but still, when you're at like 22 and you're watching that timer countdown, it's like, come on, just give it to me. All right, we're about to get a visit from Mr. Stumpy here, which is a big love.
Brewers fan looks like he's on his way, going to be following in the footsteps of Problems at this point.
Yep. And it looks like Problems is heading over to the bomb hut to figure out what crystals 5 and 6 are.
And we'll then go to the artist formerly known as Hype Cave.
So Meyer and Pod are 5 and 6, which I guess that's fair considering that, you know, that air quotes big game is in the home of Prince. It's probably good to go with that name for it. I know the Shades likes to call it the Prince Cave.
This cave has so many different names that I've heard.
And it looks like it's just a useless small key to Skullwoods, and $300 is really all that's in here.
Yeah.
Hence why it's the artist formerly known as Hype Cave.
Oh my goodness. So bad. It's so bad. Now, we do have 2 keys to Pod, which creates some interesting possibilities here. You won't be able to clear out Pod by any means, and you don't have the big key, but there's still a lot of treasure chests that you do have access to if you're going into Pod.
Especially because you have the bow. You can save one of the locked doors and use the bow route to get around it.
Absolutely. Bow and hammer.
We have the map to Hera on the pyramid. The one thing we should mention, though, is that these runners have to be careful. All right, so we got pendants in Thieves Town and Ice. The thing they have to be careful with is that there is a known soft lock in version 28 that it is possible that if you go mode Helmassar and use up your keys to where you accidentally lock a chest behind a door, it is possible to get soft lock. So the community knows about it, and hopefully both of these runners do know about it. But it still should be noted. They got to be careful with this.
Well, and I really don't think Problems is going to be trying to go mode Helmasaur, so I don't know if that's really going to come into play at this point.
Especially because we have the big key. But I mean, you're right. It's just kind of one of those things that we like to put it out there, so any new people new here, they know kind of what the situation is. Kiki the Extortionist is opening up the door to pod, and let's see what we got in here.
Oh, we're going to be doing pod and doing this the long way without the